Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and in today's show, we're going to get into a Giants rumors mailbag where I answer all of your questions, which aired on Wednesday, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern, where we answer all your questions, and we only answer subscribers' questions. So if you want to be a part of the show and you want your questions to be answered, go down right now, hit that big red button. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. Yes, 10,000. It's been a long way. We're the fastest growing Giants YouTube channel out there. So join the squad, go down right now, and hit that big red button. This first question coming in from Jeremy Chuggs. Hey, Marshy, who will have the most receiving yards for the Giants this year? Jeremy Chuggs, that's a good question. And if I had to say today, I think it's going to be Kadarius Toney. And that's kind of might be a little bit of a surprise to some people, because on this show, I've been a little bit critical, and I think fairly, of Kadarius Toney for him not showing up to voluntary minicamp or to voluntary workouts. But he was there at voluntary OTAs. And according to Brian Dable and Mike Kafka, he's been a wonder. He's been a wonder to work with. He's been great to be around. He's digesting the playbook, and he's doing everything right on and off the field. There's no doubt about it that Kadarius Toney has everything you need to be successful at the wide receiver spot in the NFL. If you just go back and look at what he did against the Dallas Cowboys last year when Mike Glennon was under center, where he had 10 catches for about 190 yards, Kadarius Toney is a special football player. When he has the ball in his hands and he has space to work, more times than not, he's going to make that first defensive back miss when it comes to trying to get him on the ground. Toney is going to be electric in this new offense run by Brian Dable and Mike Kafka. The Giants are going to run a lot of spread personnel where they have 4 receivers on the field and no running backs in the backfield. They're going to be run a lot of empty sets, and I think Kadarius Toney is really going to benefit from that a lot. More passes equals more targets and catches for Toney, so pencil me in for Toney for leading the Giants in receiving yards this year. Jay Sports Cards, what up? What's the word on how Evan Neal is looking? From what I've seen and from what I've read, Evan Neal is already looking like a seasoned pro at OTAs. And that's what you expect when you take an offensive lineman inside the top 10 and you kind of come out of Alabama, which is the closest thing you're going to get to an NFL practice or an NFL type franchise or team or organization. Evan Neal is going to be a great football player for the Giants for the next 10 to 15 years. And the thing I love about him the most is even though he played left tackle at Bama last year, 2 years ago, he played right tackle. So he has those reps. He knows the mechanics to play right tackle. He's been through the situations. He knows how to excel over there. And the fact he's already looking good and him and Andrew Thomas are already kind of forming a relationship and they seem to be getting along with each other, that's a good thing. Evan Neal's looked good, and he's going to look good on Sundays for sure. Andre the Giant. Marcus Peters is going to be a free agent next year. Should we sign him? All right, we're talking 2023 free agency. I love Marcus Peters. He's the type of corner I want on my football team. He's aggressive. He likes to take chances. And when the ball's in the air, he goes and makes a play on it like a receiver. If you look at what he's done the prior 5 seasons, last year he didn't play because of a torn ACL. But in 2020 to 2017, he was one of the best corners in the NFL. In his NFL career, he has like 30-plus interceptions. He's a risk taker. He knows the Wink Martindale defense. He likes to play that press man cover corner, and he likes to bait quarterbacks into making throws that are risky. And he's a game-changing corner that when the ball is in the air, he can take it the other way. I like Marcus Peters a lot. It does concern me, though, that he's coming off an ACL and he's already north of 30. But if you can get him in free agency next year where the Giants are going to have some of the most cap space in the NFL, I'd be down to go and sign Marcus Peters because of how weak this secondary room is. So he's definitely going to be on my radar, and I'm sure he's going to be on the Giants' radar. But I want you to take the seat of Joe Shane right now. Should the Giants sign Marcus Peters next year? I know we're looking forward and a lot can change, but I want you to weigh in right now on how you feel today in May. Type S for sign, or you can go down in the comment section and type P for pass. And look, if the Giants make a move, whether it's sign, J.C. Treader or anybody throughout the rest of this NFL offseason, we're going to be breaking it down on this channel, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. We just crossed over 9,000 subscribers. I want to thank everybody that has gone down and hit that big red button. But look, we like to keep things moving, and the next milestone is the one we're going after, and we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So go down right now, hit that big red button, free daily Giants videos every single day. I promise you won't regret it. Wolf Z, my guy, what up? Who wins the left guard spot, Lemieux, Ezeudu, or Garcia? I'd like for it to be Josh Ezeudu, because considering the fact that he was a top 100 pick for the Giants in the NFL draft, I think that would be the best case scenario for the rebuilding of a team. Anytime you can get a rookie on the field early as possible and he can contribute, that's best case scenario. But if I had to rub my crystal ball today and be a genie, I think it'd be Shane Lemieux. He's been the starting guard so far through Giants OTAs, battling back from that patella injury he suffered early in 2021. I like the nastiness that Shane Lemieux plays with. He's not the most talented or the most skilled or most refined interior offensive lineman, but he's nasty. He's a good run blocker. He was a captain at Oregon. He's someone that can contribute, and I like the tenacity he plays with. So if I had to predict it today, Wolfsy, I think it'd be Shane Lemieux to start the season, but I would not be surprised if Joshua Ezeudu comes in week 4, week 5, or later on in the season and takes over that spot. Appreciate the question, Wolfsy. Ryan234, what up, man? What do you think of Daniel Bellinger? Heard he has been playing well at OTAs. Yes, he's been looking really good. This past week at OTAs, him and Ricky Seals-Jones have been splitting reps with the first offense. And that's a big step for a tight end that was selected in the 4th round of the 2022 NFL Draft, and especially for a tight end that really wasn't a focal point of the receiving game last year in college. Only 31 grabs, 357 yards, 11.5 yards per catch, and 2 touchdowns. But this is someone that had one of the best contested catch rates in college football last year. He's got strong hands. He can go up with a DB on him or a linebacker on him and go up and pluck the ball out of thin air. A little blast from the past. He kind of reminds me of Kevin Boss, someone that you're going to kind of sleep on. You don't think he's really all that athletic. You don't think he can go up and catch it and, get off the ground and show a vertical, but he can do that. I like Daniel Bellinger a lot, and I would not be surprised by at the end of the season in 2022, he's the starting full-time Giants tight end, and he cements himself as the starting tight end for the Giants for the future. Bellinger has all the tools you want in a tight end. He can block, he can catch, he can push the seam, and he's a hard worker. I like him a lot, and I've been very impressed with what I've seen in Giants OTAs. But I want to leave this question up to you guys. Who do you think has more touchdowns in 2022? Do you think it'll be Ricky Seals-Jones, the player that the Giants signed in free agency on the 1-year veteran minimum deal, or will it be Daniel Bellinger? Type RS for Ricky Seals-Jones or DB for Daniel Bellinger. I also want to ask you guys to show us some love over on Rumble. We're at 1.9 thousand followers over there, and I want to get to 2K on today's video. Rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. It's a very similar app to YouTube. We're now posting our Giants content over there, free, uncensored content. They've also got other sports content, news, politics, tech. And look, we're just growing to platforms that you guys use. One of my favorite features over on Rumble is you can let the audio of the video play. While the video, you're not actually watching it. You can close out of the app, or while the video's playing, you can go respond to a text message or go check out some tweets over on Twitter, and the audio will continue to roll. So show us some love. Give us a follow over there. Rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. Nikki, what up? How bad does Jones have to play before Taylor replaces him? It's a good question, and one we've talked about a couple times on the show, and I'm sure a lot of Giants fans are curious about it. I think Tyrod Taylor, for him to go and play, Daniel Jones is going to have to be really bad. Because it sounds like Joe Shane, Brian Dable, and Mike Kafka are all in on supporting Daniel Jones. They're going to give him every opportunity to show that he can be the franchise quarterback for the New York Football Giants. They've talked about how they want Daniel Jones to cut it loose. They want him to be aggressive. They want him to be a gunslinger. They want him to get out of the mold that he was under Jason Garrett with the Giants the past 2 years, where he was conservative, where he took the first read, where he checked it down, where he took the sack instead of trying to improvise and make a play. That's not going to be the case with the Giants under Brian Dable and Mike Kafka. Daniel Jones is going to be a gunslinger, and for him to be subbed out for Tyrod Taylor, he's going to have to play really bad. Look, if the Giants start out 0-5 or 0-6, and Daniel Jones is the sole reason that the Giants aren't winning football games, and he is hindering the performance and success of the Giants, then maybe we could see Tyrod Taylor take the place of DJ. Last question in this mailbag. Say my name. Do you think Quincy Roche is being slept on? I do. I think we're forgetting how good of a football player Quincy Roche was down the home stretch of the 2021 NFL season. There was a stretch of games last year where Roche in like 5 games had 14 QB pressures, a couple of sacks, and played really well. When you look at his stats for the entire season, they don't pop off the screen. Only 2.5 sacks, 14 pressures, 24 tackles, 1 forced fumble. But when he was in the game and he had an opportunity to contribute as a pass rusher, this is someone that showed life and showed the ability to get after and display the type of moves that he had. He was a 7th-round pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2021. He was released. Giants picked him up on waivers. A good move by Dave Gettleman. Hats off. I'll give him credit where credit is due. I like what Quincy Roche can do as a player. I like the traits that he possesses. But when you look at the front 7 room of the New York Giants and the pass rushers that they have in Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari, and you also got Leonard Williams, the next guy is Quincy Roche. Because I don't think Ellerson Smith is ready just yet. He was a 4th-round pick last year, but he was always somewhat of a project type of player. I like Roche a lot, and I think he's going to have a chance to be that 3rd edge rusher on this team. I honestly don't even think O'Shane Ximines is going to make the roster. So I think Roche is going to have a chance to prove a lot of people wrong, let the people continue to sleep on him, and show that he can be a serviceable edge rusher in the NFL. Speaking of people that are being slept on, though, we talked about Quincy Roche. He's a guy that I think is being slept on by Giants fans and people are forgetting about because he did flash as a rookie a little bit. I want you to name a player that you think is being slept on the Giants. I'm curious where all you stand on this. So sound off in the comments, Giants fans. Name a player you think that is being slept on the Giants roster.